Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I'll probably leave out Thursday morning. Yeah. Oh, by the way, well, it doesn't matter for you now. Hang on a second. Someone's calling. Hang on, let me call you back.
This is hilarious.
Hello?
Now, I had my headset on, so I couldn't record him.
Jeff.
So it took me a second.
Which Jeff?
It took me a second, and I was like, oh, I gotta
Which Jeff?
take
I know like 5 Jeffs. DeTrick. So what's up? What was your question? What do you mean, what do I want?
Okay, here's where I realized I can't record him on Bluetooth, so I had to take my Bluetooth off. Well, he's running his mouth.
What do? What do you want? What do you want to get out of this? You can't go in there without me. You now. I tried to tell you. Nobody wants to listen to me. You guys now know that. So what do you want for helping?
I'm sorry, you lost me. You say I didn't want to invest. I did invest, but then you basically arbitrarily kicked me out of the project, which I don't really care about anyways. And I'm not spying on you. I went over there the other day to collect dirt because a friend of mine wanted some dirt to put in her holes on her property. So I went over there to collect dirt. But like I said, I was locked out of my property, and
Okay, yeah. So, to clarify the dirt, you know, he's digging for buried treasure, right? Psychic buried treasure hunt. And, which is a bunch of crap. I mean, I kind of sort of believed a little bit of it. There's a few things that he says. He goes, supposedly, there's Spanish gold there, which, that's a bunch of crap. Supposedly, there's also Jesse James gold there, which that part I actually kind of sort of believed. He claims there's ET devices, alien technology, which that part is kind of far-fetched as well. I mean, I believe that possibly, you know, extraterrestrials do exist and stuff, but I don't think that there's ET devices on that property. And then Native American artifacts, which that part is also believable. So, yeah. So, I kind of sort of invested in the project, this Psychic Buried Treasure Hunt, because I did kind of believe in the Jesse James gold, and I did kind of believe in the Native American artifacts. But the rest, I mean, basically he just piled hogwash story on top of hogwash story on top of hogwash story until it wasn't believable anymore. You know, it's like, stick to one story instead of going all on these different rabbit trails of different wild goose chase stories, making it all seem like it's the same story. It's like, yeah, some people might believe in one and not the other, but you got to keep your story straight. You can't just mix it all together, because then it makes it not believable, right? So the more he kept adding on to the story, the less I believed in said project. But the guy was smart, you know, like David Ray. Smart but worthless. So he did have some good ideas. He did have some inventions that never went to market. But it's like every time that we were supposed to do something and I needed his help on the land, he's like, well, why don't we just invent something to do it for us? I'm like, how many millions of dollars and how much time would it take to create said invention versus just doing the project, right? So, crazy. Totally crazy. And then, what else? Oh, there was something else I forgot now. But anyhow, oh yeah, and the whole getting off the grid, I talk about this later in the audio. The whole getting off the grid thing, and the metaphysical school and all that stuff. And see, he was an astrologer, and that is what I originally got connected with him on, because I was going through a divorce. She cheated on me. I thought, maybe the astrology can save our marriage, type of thing. But it was too late. But I was in denial, right? I was in denial. And so I was grasping at straws to save my relationship. And so David Irish hooked me up with this Yahoo. And he conned me into his project. So anyways, here we go.
I had to cut the lock.
I'll tell you something. There's 6 other people that own this property. You can't.
Let me go back a minute.
Which I don't really care about anyways. And I'm not spying on you. I went over there the other day to collect dirt because a friend of mine wanted some dirt to put in her holes on her property. So I went over there to collect dirt. But like I said, I was locked out of my property, and I had to cut the lock.
I'll tell you something. There's 6 other people that own this property.
So yeah, okay, so like I said, Cindy needed dirt. I didn't really want to take dirt off my property, my other property, my main property. And basically, David Ray and I just basically renamed that property the Quarry. We used to call it Parties in a Scam Contract, because that's basically what it is. But we later ended up just calling it the Quarry because that's basically all it's good for. Now that he destroyed the pond and he destroyed the well. So, basically, 2 things now. David Ray and I used to go over there and collect hedge for our fencing. But now I'm going to use something else, two other something else's. So the hedge isn't that valuable for me anymore. The other thing hedge is valuable to me now for is food and medicine. I can graft my chafe root onto it, and hedge apples are healthy. They may not taste very good, but they're nutritious. But anyways, there's passion fruit growing on the land. Oh, there's also the wild tomatillas, which are called Chinese lanterns. I forgot about those. And then the clay and rock. So if I need clay and rock, I go over there to get clay and rock. And Cindy wanted dirt to fill her holes. She didn't really like the clay and rock, but there just happened to be dirt there too. So I took the clay and rock for my Kaplinger property, and she took the dirt for her property. And when we need more, I'll go back for more until he buys me out. Now, yeah, another thing, I did spend approximately $12,000. $5,000 went to the land, and then the other $7,000 went to the project. Some of it was money I gave him. Some of it was stuff that I bought for said project. And the reason I wanted to buy the product for the project was if it was a scam, which it turned out to be, I could at least write some of that stuff off on my taxes, and it wouldn't be a total loss. I still gave him a receipt, and I kept the receipt. So I got duplicate receipts. I wrote it off on my taxes. So 1/3 of those things I actually got to write off. And the other 2/3 was a loss, right? So there you go.
You can't collect dirt without either getting permission or paying them.
I don't think so. You can do whatever you want. I can do whatever I want.
Right, so he's saying that I gotta pay for dirt or get permission from the 6 or 9 or whatever other owners, right? Right. It's my property too. And it's just freaking dirt. He doesn't care about the stupid dirt. He's digging for gold, right? He's got these piles and piles of dirt from where he's digging the dirt out of the hole. I'm just helping him out, you know? If I removed all the dirt, I mean, this is provided I actually took all the dirt, right? So if I removed all the dirt, boom, he'd have all, you know, it would be out of his way. I would be helping him, but yet he complains that I'm taking dirt that he doesn't want anyway. It's like, who cares, dude? You don't even want the dirt.
No, that isn't the way it works. You have to pay people, just like you took that tree and you sold it probably. That was $1,000.
Bullshit. It was only maybe like 2 hedge posts that I used on my...
Okay, yeah. So he sells things off the property all the time, but do I get a commission? No. He gets paid, like he got paid to for people to dump. He got paid for people to dump tires there, which technically is illegal, by the way. So he let someone to dump tires there, and he got paid for that, which, you know, he did whatever he wanted to do with that. Part of the money went to the project, I'm sure, and then part of it went to his bills. But nonetheless, did I see a commission off of that? No, right? So why, even if I did sell something off of the land, why would I give him a commission, right? I'm not going to see a commission from anything he finds. It doesn't matter how much I invested. David Ray and I helped him dig out that well, right? They discovered the well. I don't know if psychics discovered it or if they discovered it, but somebody discovered it, right? And the psychic said there was gold in that well, or 3 feet outside of the well, or some crap. I don't know. So I went in the well, helped him dig it all out. I did most of the work. Bought a pump, bought the plumbing, bought everything so he can have water, right? But then later, this was during the falling out, right? So later, during the falling out, he wanted David Ray and I to go and help him basically destroy the well and find the gold. And he told us that he would give us 2/3 of the gold and he would keep 1/3 for himself, and he would cut out everybody else in the project. And we refused. And that was another reason why he turned his back on us, because we refused to cut out the other owners and go along with his scam. But there's no gold there anyways. But even if there was gold there, and even if we did believe in the gold, which, like I said, I kind of did, but I kind of didn't, we at least had the moral scruples to not stab the other owners and other investors in the back like DeTrick wanted us to. I will say that for David Ray, he does have some morals. A lot more than DeTrick does. I don't think DeTrick has any morals whatsoever. But, you know, David Ray is not all bad. He's not all great either. But he's not near as bad as DeTrick. DeTrick is like the worst. You know, I would patch things up and be friends with David Ray before I would patch things up and be friends with DeTrick by a long shot. David Ray at least has some morals and some values and some scruples, where this guy, he basically has none.
Property, and a hedge post costs maybe $30 at best.
No, it costs $1.50 a board foot. I called the hedge post company over in Stockton, and that's what they sell it for. And I calculated the board foot that you took. That was $1,000 worth of wood you took. I calculate board footage because I use I know
All
how
right,
to
so
calculate
basically, you're calculating it in your favor. I'm calculating it by what I have seen myself.
Okay. What do you want to help out? Because you're not in the venture payout schedule because you didn't invest in the treasure hunt. You only bought the property. I told you before you bought the property, 5 people already bought into the property and refused to invest. And they got voted out.
No. That's a bunch of crap. I spent $5,000 on the property and I spent another $10,000 investing in your stupid project. And you say I don't invest nothing? That's a bunch of shit.
Well, wait a minute. You spent $5,000.
Yeah, it wasn't quite 10,000, but it was like 7,000, maybe 8, somewhere in there. But anyhow, I got all the receipts and stuff. But that's almost irrelevant. My asking price was going to be $15,000 because, I want to return on my investment. And it turned out to be a scam. Of course, he had the problem, though. Here's the problem with me selling my 9% is he has to scam someone else. So if I ask for $15,000 or $20,000, because technically right now the land is worth $5,000 to $10,000 per acre, right? So if I got $15,000 out of it, that's actually what the land is actually worth right now, and I'd get my money back, right? So, and it would give me a little bit of a return on my investment. But I might actually just say 20,000, and then let him June me down. But I'd be like, hey, the land's worth $10,000 an acre right now. So, I want 20. See what he says. But, 15 will be my bottom dollar. But anyhow, yeah, I technically, if I remember correctly, the number I invested was somewhere between $12,000 and $13,000. $5,000 was the physical deed, which he tried to say he voted me out of. He's like, oh, we got together and we voted you out of the deed, and now you have to sign your deed over to us because we voted you out of ownership of your property. I'm like, that's a bunch of shit. You can't do that. Like I'm stupid, right? I may not be very smart, but I'm not dumb. All right, here we go.
Doors buying the property. Like everybody else, they bought the property. Okay.
Which I don't really care about anyways. And I'm not spying on you. I went over there the other day to collect dirt because a friend of mine wanted some dirt to put in her holes on her property. So I went over there to collect dirt. But like I said, I was locked out of my property and I had to cut the lock.
Tell you something. There's 6 other people that own this property. You can't collect dirt without either getting permission or paying them.
I don't think so. You can do whatever you want. I can do whatever I want.
No, no, that isn't the way it works. You have to pay people, just like you took that tree and you sold it probably. That was $1,000.
Bullshit. It was only maybe like 2 hedge posts that I used on my property, and a hedge post costs maybe $30 at best.
No, it costs $1.50 a board foot. I called the hedge post company over in Stockton, and that's what they sell it for. And I calculated the board foot that you took. That was $1,000 worth of wood you took.
I don't even think there is a hedge post company over in Stockton, so I think that was a lie too.
I calculate board footage because I use.
And that was a long time ago also. I gotta go. That was a long time ago also. The wood may be worth more now, but at the time that we came over and collected it, the value of hedge was like $30 for a corner post, which is what we needed. Now, of course, That's $30 paying somebody else for their labor to collect it and sell it. You know, so we did the labor. So if you the $35 or $30, whatever you want to say it is. Let's say it's 35. You know, $35 for a hedge post minus the labor, what's that worth? You know, maybe $20 at best. Hang on a second. What's happening?
3.5 hours for a half load.
Oh, only a half load?
Half load, that's all I can get out of that tanker I sucked out over there.
Nice.
The rest of it's kind of frozen up or gummed up or whatever.
Oh, so it's really thick? Oh, okay. Yeah, I got regular stuff, so mine should only take about an hour, maybe.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
well, they had me drop it. Day shift always makes you drop it. And
Yeah.
you pull out.
Yeah, because apparently people complain about the odor.
I tell you, he was telling me, he goes, who the hell told you to drop it? And I said, I don't know, I'm back underneath it, jack the fucker up about 8 inches, open the door, back it in, done.
Yeah.
So you loading here and going to cow power then?
Oh, I don't know. Hang on, let me check. Because I had...
They asked me if I was loading here, and I said, no. I said, I'm going to Seneca to reload for...
Okay, no. After emptying Joliet, go to Wisconsin, Restaurant Technologies, and then go to Albert Lee, Minnesota to deliver.
There you go. Albert Lee, have you been there?
Once, I think.
Yeah, it's where you real tight turn to get in, and then, yeah. And then you have to stand outside or in the office or whatever.
Oh, the one where you sit in the building,
Yeah.
in the break room or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
They never told me I could sit in there. I always stood outside.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's...
No, you can, because somebody told me that last time I was in there. They're like, you didn't sit inside?
Oh,
I'm
okay.
like, well, I didn't think anybody was allowed inside their little shack. So, all
Right.
right, well, see you around.
Yep, have fun. Crazy. Alright, so... yeah, I'm a truck driver. I do tankers. I forgot what I was saying, so we'll just go ahead. Oh yeah, $20. That's what probably the hedge post was worth because we did the labor, right?
Alright, so basically, you're calculating it in your favor. I'm calculating it by what I have seen myself.
Okay. What do you want to help out? Because you're not in the venture payout schedule because you didn't invest in the treasure hunt. You only bought the property. I told you before you bought the property, 5 people already bought into the property and refused to invest. And they got voted out.
No. That's a bunch of crap. I spent $5,000 on the property and I spent another $10,000 investing in your stupid project. And you say I don't invest nothing? That's a bunch of shit.
Well, wait a minute. You've spent $5,000 buying the property. And like everybody else, they bought the property. Okay. Then you have to invest.
Yeah, I invested almost $10,000, but apparently you threw that away. I still have receipts.
Okay? What did you spend $10,000 on? You never gave it to me.
Bull crap.
Well, where's the money? Where'd it go?
I don't know. You blow it on all kinds of stuff. That was 10 years ago. I gotta go back and look at my receipts. Apparently you threw all the evidence away. I have my evidence filed away in my tax stuff because basically I tried to write off whatever I could write off. Some of it I could, some of it I couldn't. So some of it was a loss, some of it wasn't.
Okay. So, but I don't know what $10,000 you put into it. You didn't give me any money. You're not in the venture payout. That's why you got voted out. Because you wouldn't give me any money.
That's not
kept
why
saying you
I
were
got
broke.
voted out. I got voted out because you turned your back on me because I wouldn't turn my back on David Ray.
Okay. You can say whatever you want.
That's what happened. You wanted me to just abandon David, throw him out on the streets with his animals, and make him homeless. And because I refused to do that, you started creating problems for me too.
He was supposed to dig. That was the rent.
I understand
he refused to dig. So we kicked him off. And he wouldn't give me his last name. And I kicked him off for those reasons too.
I understand, but I wasn't going to make him homeless.
I'll be right back. Let me pause this. Alright, I'm back. I probably should have paused it earlier whenever I was talking to that guy. But I can probably edit that out. I mean, I know I can edit that out, but, you know. Whoa. Pay attention. Here we go. Where we at? 5 minutes and 37 seconds. Let's go back a hair. Why does it go back that far? There we go.
Out because you turned your back on me because I wouldn't turn my back on David Ray.
Okay. You can say whatever you want.
That's what happened. You wanted me to just abandon David, throw him out on the streets with his animals, and make him homeless. And because I refused to do that, you started creating problems for me too.
He was supposed to dig. That was the rent.
I understand
he refused to dig. So we kicked him off. And he wouldn't give me his last name. And I kicked him off for those reasons too.
I understand, but I wasn't going to make him homeless.
Okay. Well,
that's all I cared
at the time,
and I didn't.
So, you know.
We figured it out. We put him on George and Valerie's property, but you wanted me to just forget about him, and because I didn't, you turned on me.
No, that isn't why I turned on you. I turned on you because you wouldn't invest in the project.
Bull. I invested almost $10,000 in that project.
Wait a minute. Why would I turn on you and I didn't turn on anybody else? They all invested. You wouldn't
turned on a half dozen other people, at least.
Yeah, see, he just contradicted himself twice. Here, just in a minute, you'll hear it. He contradicts himself twice. First, he says, I didn't invest in the project. Then he admits that I invested in the project. And then he said he didn't turn on anyone else.
Is on the left.
And then he admitted to turning on other people because he said they were crooks. And he was the only honest person there. More like he's the only crooked one there. I mean, probably not. I'm sure there's other crooked people involved, but he's the main crook. Oh, man. But yeah, he's acting like he's the innocent one, and everyone else is crooked. Everyone else is a thief. That's what he said, and you'll hear him say that here in just a minute. You know? He talks out of both sides of his mouth. I gotta make sure somebody's here spotting me before I back in anymore. So here we go. We at 6:15.
Out because you turned your back on me because I wouldn't turn my back on David Ray.
Okay. You can say whatever you want.
That's what happened. You wanted me to just abandon David, throw him out on the streets with his animals, and make him homeless. And because I refused to do that, you started creating problems for me too.
He was supposed to dig. That was the rent.
That's true. I mean, David Ray didn't do what he was supposed to do. He did create problems. I didn't realize that at the time, though. I defended David. But looking back, you know, DeTrick was probably right in that respect. That David Ray wasn't following through with his end of the agreement, because he did that with his mother. He did that with me. He did that with George and Valerie. He did that with other people. He probably did that with his ex-wife. So I'm sure he did it with DeTrick also. But, again, because DeTrick wanted me to just throw him out on the streets with his animals with no place to go, and I wouldn't do that, he turned his back on me. Now, granted, 10 years later, I end up doing that. I end up telling him he's got to go, and he had no place to go, but I didn't give a crap. It took me 10 years to realize how bad David Ray really was. But, you know, he had people, he had connections. He could have, and he did, find a place to put his animals, and he did find a place to live. They didn't really want him or his animals, but they took him and his animals. So now they're hoping he moves on, which he probably never will. But that's another story for another day. But yeah, DeTrick wanted me to basically stab David Ray in the back, and I refused to do that, so DeTrick stabbed me in the back. And then I already told you about the whole, DeTrick wanted David Ray and me to stab all the other investors in the back, and we refused to do that. So, again, he also turned his back on us for that as well.
I understand
He refused to dig, so we kicked him off. Anyone give me his last name, and I kicked him off for those reasons too.
I understand, but I wasn't going to make him homeless.
Okay. Well, I introduced you to George at the time,
and I didn't.
So, you know.
We figured it out. We put him on George and Valerie's property, but you wanted me to just forget about him, and because I didn't, you turned on me.
No, that isn't why I turned on. I turned on you because you wouldn't invest in the project.
Bull. I invested almost $10,000 in that project.
Wait a minute. Why would I turn on you and I didn't turn on anybody else? They all invested. You wouldn't
turned
invest.
on a half dozen other people, at least.
Who? Name one.
Other investors that did not buy into the land.
Exactly. They got voted out.
Well, they still invested, so what? They just don't get anything?
No, they bought the land. Two different deals. You can buy the land, but I'm not selling property just to sell property. I'm selling property to people that would invest in the treasure hunt after you buy the property.
Right. And again, I invested, but you still arbitrarily voted me out.
Now, what did you invest? Show me where you invested. I tried to take some of that money.
Okay, I just realized something. I didn't catch this earlier. So he said there's 6 other owners in the land. Now in a minute, he says that everybody's a thief except for him. But so I have to report to him and all the other investors, but yet now he's saying that, oh, those people bought into the land, but yet they refused to invest, so they got voted out. So if they got voted out, why do I need to report to them about what I do on our collective property when no one else consults me what they do on our collective property, right? They don't want to consult me. I don't have to consult them. But anyways, that's kind of a rabbit trail, but I just caught that and I wanted to interject.
That you put into the land and tried to make it look like you had invested.
That's a lie.
To encourage you to invest, but you never gave.
I invested almost $10,000 in that project.
Wait a minute. Why would I turn on you and I didn't turn on anybody else? They all invested. You wouldn't invest.
You turned on a half dozen other people, at least.
Who? Name one.
Other investors that did not buy into the land.
Exactly. They got voted out.
Well, they still invested, so what? They just don't get anything?
No, they bought the land. Two different deals. You can buy the land, But I'm not selling property just to sell property. I'm selling property to people that would invest in the treasure hunt after you buy the property.
Right. And again, I invested, but you still arbitrarily voted me out.
Now, what did you invest? Show me where you invested. I tried to take some of that money that you put into the land and tried to make it look like you had invested.
That's a lie.
To encourage you to invest, but you never gave me any money for the treasure hunt.
Alright, hang on. I gotta get out and see if they want me to drop this trailer. I'm gonna pause this again. Now that's just lovely. I just did all that work to drop the trailer. And now we're gonna hook back up to it. And move to a different bay. Ah, it's crazy. Put some air in my airbags real quick. So yeah, we're only 7 minutes of 18 minutes.
You refused. You kept saying you were broke.
No, you kept trying to get more money out of me than what I had already invested, and I said I don't have more.
Whoa. No, I remember now. I told you at the very beginning that you could buy into 1%. That's before you bought the property. And it was $5,000 for 1%. And you gave me $1,250, and then you came back and gave me $250. I think the whole total was $1,450 you gave me. That was it. You didn't buy the 1% deal.
So
then you bought the property.
You just contradicted
Then you bought
yourself.
the property. And then I said, okay, well, we can take this money and put it and transfer it into the venture payout schedule if you invest more in the venture payouts. And you refused to do it. So then I didn't know what to do with the $1,450. You didn't do that deal. You didn't do the venture payout schedule. So it's like, okay, I'll vote you out because you didn't do anything. You didn't follow through on anything. You didn't buy the 1%. You didn't buy. All you did was buy the property. And what I assumed at the time is you bought the property because you figured, well, when Jeff finds a way in, we'll just go in the cave and find gold when he's not around and steal it. That's what I figured your plan was, which was Frank's plan and everybody else's plan. Everybody that got involved with this project is a thief. All of them, everybody is. And then,
especially the one who started
showing
it.
up and what?
Especially the guy who founded it.
I'm not a thief. David Irish admitted to me over the phone he was a thief. He admitted it. I was arguing with David on the phone. I was like saying, I can't understand why people steal. And David came over the phone and said, oh, I can tell you, Jeff, I'm a thief. So he admitted he was a thief. That's before I met you.
Right. Well, I
Okay.
can't speak for David Irish. I can't speak for the rest of them. But, you know, you just contradicted yourself when you said I didn't invest nothing at all, and now you're saying I invested $1,500.
Well, you did, but you were buying into 1% at the time. That was two different deals.
Right.
Yeah, you were buying into 1%, and then that was before you bought the property. Then you bought the property, and I put in, you know, some schedules that I was taking to everybody, and I was telling you, I'll transfer this money over here to the venture payout schedule if you put more money in to the venture. And at one point in time, I said, give me a couple grand and you'll be involved. And you refused. So the $1,450
Well, there's
went
a
to no avail.
difference. First off, there's a difference between refusal and not having the funds. So if
Well,
I
you
didn't
went and bought
have...
land, so how did you do that? And you kept supporting David Ray. You know, that costs money to support that guy.
Yeah, well...
People make payments to me. You don't have to give me lump sums.
Well, I did. I gave you almost $10,000. Well, actually,
you
no.
didn't give me
I take that back.
$10,000.
I didn't give you almost $10,000. Part of that was me buying the stuff for your solar setup because you said, oh, investing in me is investing in the project. So I bought stuff for your solar setup, and I got you off the grid. I got you electricity. I bought stuff for the well, which you destroyed, so that you could have water. And you said that if I invest in you, I would be investing in the project.
That's true, but you know what? I came back to David Irish, and I came back to you, and I said, well, you have to give me a value, what you paid for this stuff, and then
did.
Nobody gave me a value. Nobody said what you paid for.
I gave you a copy of the receipts. What'd you do with those receipts?
I got everything that you ever gave me.
Apparently not, because you're claiming that I didn't invest anything at all.
Well, you did give me those solar panels, yep.
Right.
I'll admit everything that you did.
Okay.
But you never gave me values for them, what you paid for them, because David told me after...
David Irish sold them to me.
Alright, let's go back to right about here.
He was a thief. He admitted it. I was arguing with David on the phone. I was like saying, I can't understand why people...
Oh yeah, this is where he's calling everybody a thief.
And you refused to do it. So then I didn't know what to do with the $1,450. You didn't do that deal. You didn't do the venture payout schedule. So it's like, okay, I'll vote you out because you didn't do anything. You didn't follow through on anything. You didn't buy the 1%. You didn't buy. All you did was buy the property. And what I assumed at the time is you bought the property because you figured, well, when Jeff finds a way in, we'll just go in the cave and find gold when he's not around and steal it. That's what I figured your plan was, which was Frank's plan and everybody else's plan. Everybody that got involved with this project is a thief. All of them, everybody is. And
everybody is. I'm sure Frank will enjoy hearing this message, okay? I'm gonna let him know.
And
especially the one who started
showing
it.
up and what?
Especially the guy who founded it.
I'm not a thief. David Irish admitted to me over the phone he was a thief. He admitted it. I was arguing with David on the phone. I was like saying, I can't understand why people steal. And David came over the phone and said, oh, I can tell you, Jeff, I'm a thief. So he admitted he was a thief. That's before I met you.
Right. Well, I can't speak for David Irish. I can't speak for the rest of them. But, you know, you just contradicted yourself when you said I didn't invest nothing at all, and now you're saying I invested $1,500.
Well, you did, but you were buying into 1% at the time. That was two different deals.
Right.
Yeah, you were buying into 1%, and then that was before you bought the property. Then you bought the property, and I put in, you know, some schedules that I was taking everybody, and I was telling you, I'll transfer this money over here to the venture payout schedule if you put more money in to the venture. And at one point in time, I said, give me a couple grand and you'll be involved. And you refused. So the $1,450
well, there's
went
a difference.
to no avail.
First off, there's a difference between refusal and not having the funds. So if I didn't
you went
have
on land, so how did you do that? And you kept supporting David Ray. You know, that costs money to support that guy.
Yeah, well,
people make payments to me. You don't have to give me lump sums.
Well, I did. I gave you almost $10,000. Well, actually.
Well, and there's evidence right there, you know, that I was giving David Ray money, you know, because I was giving David Ray 10% of my income to get him on his feet. Well, yeah, because he didn't have any money. He didn't have any form of income. His job there on that land was to help DeTrick dig for gold or whatever bullshit as payment for his rent. So that was his room and board, basically, was him to dig. Now, I don't know how much David dug. David claimed he dug. DeTrick claims he didn't dig. I don't know. All I know is David's lazy. He probably didn't dig. But at the same time, DeTrick's lazy too. But anyhow, David Ray's story was, okay, yeah, David had the goats pinned up in this little pen. You can't keep the goats pinned up in this little pen all day long, right? So, David Ray wanted to dig in the morning. Well, DeTrick doesn't get up till noon, typically. Of course, neither does David Ray, to be honest. So, David Ray wanted to dig in the morning and then let his goats forage in the afternoon. But he had to watch them because, you know, they didn't know where home was and they tended to wander. So he wanted to watch them and make sure they didn't wander too far. And they had a tendency to do that. Cleopatra has a mind of her own. She's an alpha female. And she was the leader of the pack. The one David Ray didn't really like, she was the alpha. You know, she did what she wanted to do, and she took the goats on wild adventures. Okay? So David had to watch the goats. And, so he wanted to dig in the morning and then let the goats roam in the evening while he monitored them. Which sounds reasonable, you know, but David Ray is a pathological liar too, so it's hard to believe what's true. Which one do I believe the most? David Ray. I don't believe DeTrick at all, really. But even though David Ray has done what he did to me, stabbed me in the back, spread lies about me, I still believe him over DeTrick. Okay? But anyhow, where was I? So, oh yeah, he said he wouldn't dig. And, I was giving him money. That's the rabbit trail. So, yeah, basically, I let David Ray use my pickup truck, which was a mistake. But he did take better care of it than DeTrick would have. DeTrick was mad. That's another thing. DeTrick was mad and jealous because I let David Ray use my pickup truck and I wouldn't let him use it. But see, I saw how he abused his own car. That car was a nightmare. I did not want my pickup truck to be treated the way DeTrick treated his car. Now, David Ray didn't treat my pickup truck much better, but he was an unknown, right? So I trusted David Ray over DeTrick, and so I let David Ray use my pickup truck. And in the beginning, you know, he was, I'm not sure what the right word would be, reasonable. He treated my property with respect in the beginning. It didn't last very long, but he treated my property with respect in the beginning, and therefore I continued letting him use it. He was supposed to get his own truck or own transportation within a year. 5 years later, I ended up having to take the truck away from him. But nonetheless, he was supposed to get his own truck within a year, or vehicle, right? I was giving him 10% of my income, which is about $5,000. But that was to get him on his feet so that he wasn't dependent on me or DeTrick, you know. He was to go out and find work, you know, go out and get a pickup truck or a car, something, van. Okay, the video timed out, so where was I? Okay, so David Ray was supposed to get his own vehicle with that 10% that I was giving him out of my paycheck. Now, it started out as 10%, the next year was 9%, the next year after that was only 8%, and so on and so forth. So, it was supposed to be a hand up. Now, David Ray took it as a hand out instead of a hand up, but that's a separate subject. DeTrick was mad and jealous that I was giving David Ray money, but I was giving DeTrick money too, right? So I invested, this all happened in a year's time. I bought into the land $5,000. I gave DeTrick and I invested in DeTrick about $7,000, $8,000 total, give or take, right? I invested in David Ray $5,000, give or take. And I let David Ray use my pickup truck. So in reality, I invested in both of them equally. But DeTrick was jealous of David Ray, right? And for what reason, I have no clue. But David Ray was a friend of the community in Kansas City. The same community David Ray's trash talking me to now. But anyways, David Ray and I were friends through our hippie community in Kansas City. DeTrick was friends with those same people in Kansas City, right? David Irish, friends with those same people. My friend Jamie, who's now talking about coming down, in fact, she was with me the other day when I went to the property, the day after I took Cindy over there to get dirt. I took Jamie over there and saw that DeTrick was there because Jamie wanted to see the property. She's only heard about it for 10 years. DeTrick tried to scam her into the project. And then I saw that he was there. I was like, hey, you want to meet DeTrick? And she's like, not really. I was like, well, let's go say hi. You know? So we got there and I was like, hey, you want to meet Jamie? He goes, why would I want to meet him? I was like, it's her. But anyways, I wish I had my phone. I wish I was recording that day, but I left it in my pickup truck, so I didn't get to record nothing that day. But Jamie is my witness to what happened, so there you go. But anyhow, it was funny. But so I told him my number's the same. If he wants to give me a call, if he wants to give me a copy of the key, otherwise I'm gonna keep cutting the lock, right? Because he wanted to make a big deal about me cutting a $2 lock. It's like, don't lock me out of my property. But anyways, so yeah, he's mad that I was giving David Ray money and letting him use my pickup truck. So there's evidence to that argument right there that I was giving David Ray money and letting him use my pickup truck for over 5 years, you know, trying to get him on his feet. You know, he was supposed to be doing stuff. He was supposed to be productive and proactive. Unfortunately, he wasn't. Much better than DeTrick. But DeTrick is definitely worse. Anyhow, here we go.
No. I take that back. I didn't give you almost 10,000. Part of that was me buying the stuff for your solar setup because you said, oh, investing in me is investing in the project. So I bought stuff for your solar setup and I got you off the grid. I got you electricity. I bought stuff for the well, which you destroyed, so that you could have water. And you said that if I invest in you, I would be investing in the project.
That's true. But you know what? I came back to David Irish and I came back to you and I said, well, you have to give me a value what you paid for this stuff. And then nobody gave me a value. Nobody said what you paid for. I gave you
a copy of the receipts. What'd you do with those receipts?
I got everything that you ever gave me.
Apparently not, because you're claiming that I didn't invest anything at all.
Well, you did give me those solar panels, yep.
Right.
I'll admit everything that you did.
Okay.
But you never gave me values for them, what you paid for them, because David told me after...
David Irish sold them to me for, I don't even remember what it was now. I think it was like $45. And so then that was the value of the solar panels. It was 45 or 90, something like that. I think there was two, so maybe it was 90. But I told you everything. I had full disclosure with you.
Okay, so how do we work this out at this point in time? Well, you keep coming over and wanting to be involved with this. What do you want?
I never said I wanted to be involved anymore.
Oh, okay.
That's your assumption. But again, I own 10%. Therefore, I can do...
No, you don't own 10. Nobody owns a percentage of the property. Everybody owns it collectively together. Exactly. Nobody has a percentage. But so you don't have 10.
Okay, so my argument there, technically it's 9%. The original investors, if you take all the original investors, they all bought an equal portion. They divided it into equal portions. So if you take those numbers and divide the total percentage of the property by the percentage of the land that the people bought, because there's like shares, right? And I have 1 share. Len Buyer has 2 shares that I know of. He might have more now. Other people bought half shares. DeTrick bought a 1 share. So the 1 share is worth like 9, or is the percentage of the property itself. 1 share is approximately 9%. I just say 10% because it's easy. But technicalities, technically it's like 9% if you do it with the math. And the math is really complicated and really confusing. But I got it all on paper. We can break it down. Anybody wants to question it, we can break it down. But basically I have 9%. 1 share of that property is 9%. So I own 9% of that property, technically. So, but here's his argument. Let's go back. Oh.
Well, technically, according to the calculations, it's about 9%. But again, if you have permission...
2 people have died. There are 6 property owners that are in the venture payout schedule.
I understand.
You're somebody that owns the property along with Brenda. She owns the property. Nobody bought her out. I tried to get people to buy her out. Nobody would buy her out. I tried to get Neil to buy her out. She wouldn't buy. We offered you $8,000. You turned it down.
Brenda. I need to track Brenda down and buy her out. Then I'll have 2 shares. And then I'll have technically 4 acres. Because 1 share is 2 acres. So if I have 4 acres, I could sell that 4 acres, subdivide. Well, I could, you know, later after DeTrick is dead, because that's what I'm holding out for. I'm just waiting for DeTrick to pass away, and then then this stupid scam is over, right? So if I buy out another property owner, I have basically 4 acres there. I get other people to buy out property owners, you know, 2 shares. If I get other people to buy out 2 shares, we'll each have, if I can get 5 people total, including myself, or if somebody else wants to do it and I sell mine, whatever, you know, 5 people buy out everybody. Because when DeTrick dies, it's going to basically go into probate, or I doubt he's got a will. It might go to the state, or it might go to his brother, or maybe his brother's kids, if his brother has kids. DeTrick don't have any kids. So the whole thing's a mess. But anyways, if they buy me out, great. I'll take the money and run. You know, I don't give a shit about that property, to be honest. I really don't care. I care about the passion fruit that's on it. But now I got passion fruit growing on my land, so I don't really care about that so much. I used to care about the hedge, but now I'm going in a different direction with that. The Chinese lanterns are valuable, but I got those on my property, my other property too. He destroyed the pond, he destroyed the well. So really the land has little to no value to me anymore. But so yeah, if they buy me out, great. And apparently I'm being a great thorn in his side. So the more of a thorn in his side that I am, the sooner maybe he'll find somebody to buy me out. But again, the problem with that is he's got to scam somebody out of $15,000 to buy me out. So it's like, I don't want to see somebody else get scammed either. And that's the other reason why I'm not really in a hurry to sell my property. Because it's like, somebody has to get screwed over in order to buy me out. And I don't want to see that. So I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, if you will. But I mean, you know, there's a fool born every minute, I guess. And hey, if somebody wants to buy me out for 15, I'll sell it for 15. But I'm going to start my price at 20.
Oh, well, no, you didn't. You offered $3,000.
No, we offered you $8,000. The guy over there in Humansville that owned that mechanic shop.
I do have the recordings for that. I have to go back and find them, but I think he's right. I think he was right. They offered me $8,000, but it was less than I had invested. Maybe I should have took it, but I didn't want to take a loss, and my pride or ego was kind of in the way at the time. So, and maybe it still is. But again, yeah, maybe I should have took the $8,000 if that's what the price was. I can't remember. Like I said, I got it all documented somewhere. I just got to go find it. But I document everything, as you can tell. Anybody who knows me knows I document everything, or at least most everything. Once I realize that I need to start documenting, that's when I start documenting. If I trust a person, I may not document for a long time. But once I start not trusting them, that's when I start documenting stuff. You know, or maybe if I go into the deal skeptic. Like with Sophie, I was kind of skeptical, but I trusted her. You know, I believed her. And then, of course, you know, she didn't do much. And so then I started documenting with her as well. So, you know, when David Ray started screwing me over, well, once I realized David Ray was screwing me over, I started documenting. But DeTrick, you know, that was money investing in a project that I didn't know was a scam or not. So, yeah, naturally, I documented a lot of it. I may not have documented everything, but I documented a lot of it. Part of it was tax deductible, so I wrote it off. You know, I'm a businessman. I'm going to document, you know, business stuff. And he talks about this 1%. I don't really understand. I never really did understand his 1% concept. But I think, if I remember correctly, the 1% is whoever invests in the 1% basically gets 1% off the top before anyone else gets their cut. This 1% gets 1% off the top total, and so then he divides up the 99% amongst the property owners. So, and of course the property, and this is where he also contradicts himself, because I believe, from what I understand, the 1% is for the people that don't own the property, right? Which 1% is not a lot. I mean, if you find a lot of money, then it's a lot of money. 1% of a lot is a lot, right? But 1% off the top is what he promises to everybody that helps out or invests money but is not a property owner. If I remember correctly, the other investors will have to cross-correlate this and correct me where I'm wrong. I'm going to put this on my website, my old website, but I'm going to put this on my website. So, all the people that help, he promises a portion of this 1%. So if he finds $1,000 worth of gold, then everybody that invested time, labor, money, but didn't buy into the land has to split this 1%. So 1% of 1,000 is what? $10, right? So say you invest $1,500 and you find there's $1,000 worth of gold, you have to split $10 with all these other people. That's how the 1% works. I'm sure he would find, if he found gold, I'm sure he would find more than $1,000 worth of gold. But there's no gold there. So, right? He asked me to talk to the psychics. I talked to the psychics. And the psychic says there's something there. They didn't say what. They said there's something there, but he'll never find it. That was pretty much my confirmation that I'm wasting my time. But I still invested in him and the project. Not really so much that I believed in the gold, maybe Jesse James, but I invested in him and the project because of the other things that he pipe dreamed to me on, like the metaphysical stuff, getting off the grid, blah, blah, blah. And then later, and I got this on recording too, I just got to find the recording. Later, he says, oh, this is a psychic buried treasure hunt, not a getting off the grid project. So everything you invested in the getting off the grid project doesn't count. After the fact that he said that it does count. And now you've got him on recording confirming that it counted, even though later he basically reneged on me and said it didn't count. So, but unfortunately we don't have that on recording here. I have to go back and find that recording, which I think I'm going to start digging. I back up everything. I've got external hard drives of all kinds of shit, so I have it somewhere. It's just a matter of digging and finding it, because I'm kind of like a hoarder when it comes to data. I collect so much stuff that I probably will never use, but I've got it, right? So I just got to find it. Some of it I still use, and it's amazing how I'm able to go back and find it a lot of times. Sometimes I can't, so I got to go back on the internet and try to find it again on the internet. Like this one video I'm looking for right now. I couldn't find it, so I just, did something else. But nonetheless, let's move on.
Fuller, whatever his name, Matt Fuller, whatever his name was, he moved.
All right.
Fast, and you refused to do it. So then I didn't know what to do with the $1,450. You didn't do that deal. You didn't do the venture payout schedule. So it's like, okay, I'll vote you out because you didn't do.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot and I got off track on a rabbit hole. So the 1% is for people that don't buy into the land, right? So if you buy into the land, that 1% was supposed to get converted over. So I bought into the land so that I could secure my investment. So whoever bought into the land, that 1% so like say he said I invested $1,500 or 14, whatever, before I bought the land, which actually is kind of true. I know I invested 1,000. I don't know about the other 400. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I gotta go back and look. But I know I wrote him a check for $1,000 to buy into the project. To basically, that was my earnest money, if you will, to let him know I was serious. And so I wrote him a check for $1,000. That bought me into this 1%. But then later, when I bought the land, it was supposed to move my investment over into the 99%. So he kind of lied there, because he's like, oh, you bought into the 1%, but you didn't buy the $5,000 worth of the 1%, but I bought into the land. So whatever I invested in the 1% was supposed to be converted over to the 99%, because I was now a landowner and an investor. Plus, he's not counting the time and labor that I spent on the project, So he's saying I didn't give him any money. Then he says I did give him money. Then he says I didn't do anything else, but I did buy stuff for him and his solar project and the well to get him electricity and water so he can be comfortable. And he said originally that goes towards the project. Then he said it doesn't go towards the project. Now you heard him say it does go towards the project. But then I had time and labor invested in the project, but apparently he's not counting that either. So I forgot about that until just now. You know, everybody, he's supposed to calculate everybody's time. You know, every hour that someone invests in the project, they get so many dollars invested towards said project. So however many hours I invested in labor while I was there for a whole year is also supposed to be counted towards the project, but he's negating that. So that is worth money as well. And so that should bump it up over the $12,000 that I actually invested, and should be more like $15,000, $20,000, because I invested time and labor. You know, digging. I dug out that well. I dug a bunch of other, you know, spots. I didn't dig in the pond because he didn't move there. Every time he gets a new investor, he changes locations. He's got 3 main locations that he digs. So every time he gets a new investor, he's like, oh, the psychics say it's over here. And so he moves to the different locations. So he's constantly moving to these 3 different locations. So about every year, every other year, he moves to the other location. And he just repeats that process. Like somebody told me a long time ago, while I was still living on the property, in my big truck. Thank God I'm a truck driver, because that was my only house when I was there. And then I got stuck in the mud one day, and I had to spend $500 to get myself unstuck. He was sitting in his mobile home, enjoying the TV and the electricity that I provided for him, and refused to help me get unstuck. And I had to pay somebody else $500 to get me unstuck. So maybe I should bill him for that, right? But anyways, that's another rabbit trail. Oh, before I unpause this, another guy told me while I was still living there, he says, oh, he's already found the gold. I was like, really? He goes, yeah, it's you. As long as you keep digging, or as long as you keep giving him money. No, wait. As long as he keeps digging, I don't remember how he said it. As long as you keep giving him money, he keeps digging. Right? So basically the scam is, he's digging for gold as long as you give him money. You give him money, he digs. But there's no gold, because you are the gold. Because you keep giving him money.
Anything. You didn't follow through on anything. You didn't buy the 1%. You didn't buy, all you did was buy the property. And what I assumed at the time is you bought the property because you figured, well, when Jeff finds a way in, we'll just go in the cave and find gold when he's not around and steal it. That's what I figured your plan was, which was Frank's plan and everybody else's plan. Everybody that got involved with this project is a thief. All of them, everybody is. And then,
especially the one who started
showing
it.
up and what?
Especially the guy who founded it.
I'm not a thief. David Irish admitted to me over the phone he was a thief. He admitted it. I was arguing with David on the phone. I was like saying, I can't understand why people steal. And David came over the phone and said, oh, I can tell you, Jeff, I'm a thief. So he admitted he was a thief. That's before I met you.
Right. Well, okay. I can't speak for David Irish. I can't speak for the rest of them. But, you know, you just contradicted yourself when you said I didn't invest nothing at all, and now you're saying I invested $1,500.
Well, you did, but you were buying into 1% at the time. That was 2 different deals.
Right.
Yeah, you were buying into 1%, and then that was before you bought the property. Then you bought the property, and I put in, you know, some schedules that I was taking everybody, and I was telling you, I'll transfer this money over here to the venture payout schedule if you put more money in to the venture. And at one point in time, I said, give me a couple grand and you'll be involved. And you refused. So the $1,450
well, there's
went
a difference.
to no avail.
First off, there's a difference between refusal and not having the funds. So if
well,
I didn't
you went
have
on land, so how did you do that? And you kept supporting David Ray. that costs money to support that guy.
Yeah, well,
People make payments to me. You don't have to give me lump sums.
well, I did. I gave you almost $10,000. Well, actually, no. I take that back. I didn't give you almost 10,000. Part of that was me buying the stuff for your solar setup because you said, oh, investing in me is investing in the project. So I bought stuff for your solar setup, and I got you off the grid. I got you electricity. I bought stuff for the well, which you destroyed, so that you could have water. And you said that if I invest in you, I would be investing in the project.
That's true, but you know what? I came back to David Irish, and I came back to you, and I said, well, you have to give me a value, what you paid for this stuff,
And
then
did.
nobody gave me a value. Nobody said what you paid for.
I gave you a copy of the receipts. What'd you do with those receipts?
I got everything that you ever gave me.
Apparently not, because you're claiming that I didn't invest anything at all.
Well, you did give me those solar panels, yep.
Right.
I'll admit everything that you did.
Okay.
But you never gave me values for them, what you paid for them, because David
That's
told
not
me
true.
after...
David Irish sold them to me for, I don't even remember what it was now. I think it was like $45. And so then that was the value of the solar panels. It was 45 or 90, something like that. I think there was two, so maybe it was 90. But I told you everything. I had full disclosure with you.
Okay, so how do we work this out at this point in time?
Well,
You keep coming over and wanting to be involved with this. What do you want?
I never said I wanted to be involved anymore.
Oh, okay.
That's your assumption. But again,
Okay.
I own 10%. Therefore, I can do...
No, you don't own it. Nobody owns a percentage of the property. Everybody owns it collectively together. Nobody
Exactly.
has a percentage.
But
So
it's,
you don't have 10%.
well, technically, according to the calculations, it's about 9%. But again, if you
Two people
have
have died.
permission...
Two people have died. There are 6 property owners that are in the venture payout schedule.
I understand.
You're somebody that owns the property along with Brenda. She owns the property. Nobody bought her out. I tried to get people to buy her out. Nobody would buy her out. I tried to get Neil to buy her out. She wouldn't buy. We offered you $8,000. You turned it down.
That's... Oh, well, no, you didn't. You offered...
Dang it. It timed out again. I'm bad at this. Okay, here we go.
No, we offered you $8,000. That guy.
Yeah, basically they offered me $5,000 for the land, and they offered me $3,000 for the money that I put into the project, but I actually put in more than $3,000, and so I refused, and that's why, because I wouldn't take a loss, and they I got that on recording too. They're like, oh, people take losses in businesses all the time. I was like, well, I don't go into business to take a loss, so I'm either gonna walk away with what I put in it or with a profit, one of the two. You decide.
The guy over there in Humansville that owned that mechanic shop, Fuller, whatever his name, Matt Fuller, whatever his name was. He moved to Texas since then. But he.
Oh yeah, and then Jeff tried to threaten me with his mafia buddies down in Florida or some crap, which didn't scare me because I got mafia family. So whatever, you know.
Offered you $8,000 if you signed off some sheet where he wanted you to sign an intent to sell, and you wouldn't sign the intent to sell. So, but he offered you $8,000.
Yeah, I don't remember what the price was. All I remember was it was a loss, and I wasn't going to take a loss.
No, it was more than you paid.
No,
you
I
only
paid like
$5,000.
$12,000 into your project. 12, 13, I don't remember the exact number, but I know it was over 10 grand.
Okay. You'd have to prove all that. You got to prove it. There's no proof. Giving me solar panels for $45 and
2 of them for 90.
Okay, $90 for solar panels and $1,450. Add 90 to that. Now you're about $1,500. I think you gave me some wood that I use for kindling. You gave me wood that you picked up in your yard. You gave me a pump, and then you came back and cut the whole.
It was more than just kindling. It was like probably $500 worth of wood, like actual firewood. But okay, we'll just leave it at that.
Line to it, so the pump was no value after that. So
Who cut the line?
Somebody cut the line. You're the only one who knew where it was in the weeds.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Well, somebody did.
I was the only one who knew where it was in the weeds. I can probably calculate at least a dozen people who knew where it was in the weeds. And even if they didn't know where it was, it would be easy enough to track. Now, looking back, it wouldn't surprise me if David Ray snuck over there and did it. Because he's like that, he sabotages people. So, chances are, it was David Ray. I didn't even know it happened. This is news to me. I didn't even know it happened. But if I had to put money on it, I would say if it was, I don't know how I would phrase this, but if I had to put money on it, I'd say chances are David Ray probably did it. But I don't know. I don't have any proof. I don't have any evidence. All I know is that's his character. So chances are he probably did. But it could have been anybody else. Jeff DeTrick scams and rips off and pisses off a lot of people. So it could have been a number of people, I'm not that type. I may have thought to do something like that. But to actually pull it off, I wouldn't say I don't have the balls. It's just, I have heart, and I should still do this. I could have turned DeTrick into the IRS. He has collected thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars from people under this LLC that he has. And he has not paid a single dollar in taxes. I could easily turn him into the IRS. And I should, but I never did. There's a lot of illegal things he's doing on that land. Like mining for gold, for example, without the proper provisions and permits and equipment and stuff like that, There's a lot of things that he's doing illegal besides ripping people off. Have I done anything to seek revenge? No. Can I? There's a half dozen to a dozen things I could do to get revenge. I could go there and damage his equipment, but I never do. In fact, whatever day it was, when I was there with Jamie, that was the only time I went there and didn't videotape that I can recall. I might have went there a time or two other than that and didn't videotape, but 90%, 95% of the time that I go there, I videotape everything and I put it on my YouTube. So, and really all I do is walk around, maybe collect some fruit, passion fruit, because that's really the only thing I really go there for now, is the passion fruit. But again, now I got it growing on my main property, so I don't even need to go there for that. Yeah. I mean, basically the land's practically worthless to me now. The only reason I would use it is for a food forest. That's about it. It's the only thing it's worth.
Somebody came back and cut the electrical cord to it in 3 places. Neil tried to fix it. He couldn't fix it. So the pump is worth.
How can you not fix an electrical line? I mean, that's not even rocket science. All you have to do is splice them together. How can you not fix that? You gotta be stupid not to be able to fix that.
It's not worth anything, okay? So you gave $250 for that, but you only gave that.
So, I don't know what I paid for the pump and all the accessories, but I know it's over $250. Anyhow, and he's saying it's worthless because he's accusing me of damaging it when I didn't, but he has no proof that I did or didn't. So it's not my problem or my fault or my responsibility for what happens to that pump after I'm gone, or the water line or whatever. So he's basically saying because something happened mysteriously, whatever, whoever did it, because something happened to it, oh, now it doesn't count. So does that mean because now the solar panels probably don't work, or the batteries that I bought for the solar panels don't work anymore, that doesn't count either? I remember when we was messing with the batteries, he did the batteries wrong and blew up the charge controller. Is he now going to say that that charge controller doesn't count because he broke the charge controller, he blew it up? You know, that was a $100 charge controller. Does that not count now? You know, because it broke, you know? I don't know. Anyways, it's stupidity. I'm just going to hold out for my $15,000. And if not, I'll just keep going over there and do whatever the hell I want to do.
The idea of you moving on the property at the time, and you were going to bring your mother, and I said, no, you can bring all these people down here. This is a private treasure hunt between you, me, and whoever.
Yeah. Okay, so the only person I brought down was David Ray, and that was with his permission. He had to seek... He was like, before you bring anyone down, I have to run their astrology and I have to talk to the psychics first. I was like, okay, cool. And I honored that, right? Even though I didn't really believe. I kind of believed in the astrology. I did believe in the astrology. The psychics, you know, maybe 10%. There are real psychics, but most of them are not psychic, right? Most of the people that say they're psychic are not psychic. They're just pretenders. But anyway... So I went along with it, you know. It's like David Ray needed sanctuary, and he was a friend. He had farm animals. We had land, and he was like, he ran his astrology. He talked to the psychics. He said, "Oh, he passes with flying colors. Bring him down." So I packed him up and brought him down. 2 weeks later, he's the devil. Get rid of him. Ah! You know, and then I had to figure out what to do with him. Well, you know, I wasn't going to put him out on the streets. And that's what he wanted me to do. So, yeah. Anyway. Oh, yeah, he said I wanted to bring my mom down. And who knows who else. Jamie might have been the other person. But he wanted Jamie to invest too. He wanted to get her involved. He's the one who wanted Jamie involved. I mean, I might have thought of it too. I don't know. But he was all like gung-ho. He's like, bring her down, you know. But my mom, you know, if my mom came down, it would have been to visit me. And that was about it, you know. David Irish and Connie came down to visit. Why can't my mother come down and visit, you know?
I wasn't going to bring my mother. You
were talking about it.
You said that you wanted to start a metaphysical school and community there and do an off-grid project.
Originally, I have all kinds of ideas. I still do.
Right.
But we've never got in the cave, so,
right.
You know.
So I invested in the well and the pump and the electricity so that I can get you secure, because you said if I invest in you, I'm investing in the project.
That's true.
You wanted water, you wanted electricity, I got you water, I got you electricity, and then you stabbed me in the back.
Whatever, let's water over the dam at this point in time.
Exactly.
What do you want now? What do you want now? Do you want to be involved, or you want your money back? What do you want?
I either want my money back, or I'll just come over there when I want and do what I want.
No, you can't do that. Can I tell you something?
Legally,
nobody has a key but me. Nobody has a key but me. Nobody's ever asked me for a key. Nobody.
So, just because I'm a property owner doesn't mean I can come onto the property and do what I want to do. Right. Okay, so I have no legal rights as a property owner to do whatever I want to do on my property. As long, and this is, okay, when David Ray and I was over there collecting, I don't remember what we was collecting. It was either hedge that day or it was rocks, because I used to go over there to collect rocks too. Because like I said, he's got these piles of dirt and rocks laying around because he's digging for gold, right? So I went over there to collect rocks when I needed rocks. I went over there to collect hedge when I needed hedge. He don't care about that stuff. All he cares about is the gold, right? So it's my property. You know, I take 2 hedge posts out of, I don't know, 50 trees that are there, right? So, and there's probably, I don't know, at least 100 or more hedge posts there. So even if I own 10% and I take 10% of the hedge posts, why should I have to ask permission or pay somebody to take 10% of what's mine, right? But anyways, so he's saying I don't have permission to do whatever I want to do on my own property. And according to the law, I can basically do anything I want to do on that property as long as I'm not tampering with what the other people are doing on that property. So as long as I don't tamper with his equipment, his digging, his property, his assets on the land, I can pretty much do what I want to do. As long as I'm not, it's kind of like we have the right to do whatever we want to do in this country as long as we're not infringing on other people's rights. So that's the same rights that I have on that property. I can do whatever I want to do as long as I'm not infringing on the others. Now, he wants to claim that I'm infringing on him and his property by cutting his lock. That's locking me out of my property. I've asked a number of times for a key. He refuses to give me a key. So I am forced to cut the lock to gain access to my property. 9 times out of 10, I just jump the fence if I'm going to walk around and do, you know, like collect passion fruit, you know. I just jump the fence. But if I need to drive in with my truck and trailer and collect rocks or dirt or clay, I'm going to have to cut the lock, right? So all he has to do is give me a key or quit whining that I'm cutting his $2 lock, you know. But anyways, he claims, and this is funny, when he arbitrarily voted me out of the property or the project, he claimed he was him and the other property owners, which I had no evidence of this. He claimed that him and the other property owners got together and collectively, unanimously voted me out of ownership of my deed and my ownership of the land, and I had to sign my deed over to them. I was like, you're so full of shit. I mean, you know, how stupid do you think I am? So since I didn't fall for that, you know, whatever.
What's the reason for you to have a key? You know, you don't have anything on the property. You have your own properties. You've got several. You don't need my property to come over there.
It's not your property. It's our property. And
exactly. It's a bunch of people's properties, and I'm protecting it for everybody.
I have just as much right to our property as you do.
Yeah, but nobody else has a key.
Doesn't matter.
Well, it does to me. I have stuff, personal stuff still there. I got books and magazines.
Books and magazines that are probably moldy because they're sitting in that overseas storage container that's sitting in the mud. If you've seen that container that David Ray was using of mine, Oh my God, it was disgusting. Everything David had in there was moldy, and that was only sitting for 7 years in the mud. DeTrick's container's been sitting in the mud for over 10 years. I can only imagine how disgusting it is in that container. I'm surprised. The floor was pretty much rotted out of my container after 7 years. I'm sure the floor is totally rotted out of his container. He says he's got books and stuff in there. They're probably molded and rotten books. The only asset he has on that, I take that back. He does have that mobile home. I'm not sure what's in that mobile home. Don't even care. That mobile home's fallen apart also. It's unlivable. So he might have some books in there. I have no clue. And again, I don't care. When I went over there with Josh wanted to break into the mobile home, and I said no. Because he was curious what was in there, and I'm like, that's his property and that's illegal. But, you know, as long as I go on the property and do whatever I do without tampering with his property, I'm legal. But once I start tampering with his property, then that's when I'm breaking the law. And I've not done that. Now, DeTrick has done that. When David Ray and I was there, he was trespassing on David Ray's property, going in his camper and taking things out of his camper, stealing from David Ray. And I got that on audio too, I believe. I can't, don't quote me on that. But David Ray and I both will attest that he admitted, you know, contradicting himself just like he did in this audio. He admitted to going into David Ray's camper and taking something out. So first he lied and said he never trespassed in his camper. Then he contradicted himself and said he went in there for whatever reason, blah, blah, blah. So who knows how many times he went in David Ray's camper and stole from him, you know. I had my overseas storage container there locked up. And the one David Ray was using, I had it there, and it was locked up too. But David Ray's camper didn't lock. So, yeah. But yeah, he never cut our locks on our containers. He did cut David Ray's lock on the fence, on the gate, and locked David either in or out of the property one time that I know of. Other than that, I don't know. But anyways, I lost my train of thought. Here we go.
Not just giving a key out to just anybody.
I'm not just anybody.
At least when I put a lock on the gate, and when you break the lock, I know you've been there.
Yeah, I'm not just anybody. I'm a landowner. You're not supposed to lock me out of my own property. Whoa, 8 minutes. That's a long ways back.
And you refuse to do it. So
Here we go.
And the pump and the electricity so that I can get you secure, because you said if I invest in you, I'm investing in the project.
that's true.
You wanted
That's
water, you wanted electricity, I got you water, I got you electricity. And then you stabbed me in the back.
Whatever. Let's water over the dam at this point in time.
Exactly.
What do you want now? What do you want now? Do you want to be involved, or you want your money back? What do you want?
I either want my money back, or I'll just come over there when I want and do what I want.
No, you can't do that. Can I tell you something?
Legally,
Nobody
I
has a
can.
key but me.
Doesn't
Nobody
matter.
has a key but me. Nobody's ever asked me for a key. Nobody. What's the reason for you to have a key? You know, you don't have anything on the property. You have your own properties. You've got several. You don't need my property to come over there.
It's not your property. It's our property. And
Exactly. It's a bunch of people's properties, and I'm protecting it for everybody.
I have just as much right to our property as you do.
Yeah, but nobody else has a key.
Doesn't matter.
Well, it does to me. I have stuff, personal stuff still there. I got books and magazines. I'm not just giving a key out to just anybody.
I'm not just anybody.
At least when I put a lock on the gate, and When you break the lock, I know you've been there.
Exactly.
Exactly. So you figure up what I owe you, and we'll get you the money, okay?
Sounds good.
But you gotta turn over the deed. That's all part of the deal.
Oh yeah, you can't just vote me out of the deed like you thought you could. That's not the law. But if you buy me out,
We'll get
then
you your
yes.
money back. You come up, put it in writing, whatever. Put it in writing, put it on the gate, whatever. I'm over there all the time. Put it on the gate, put it in writing, what you want, sign your name, put the date on it. I'll get you the money.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. All right. Goodbye.
All right, bye.
So there it is. Like I says, that money that I quoted is basically just what I got invested. And that's not really even considering my time and suffering, pain and suffering, all this crap that's been going on. So, like I said, my bottom dollar is going to be 15 grand, but I'll make him the letter. And I'm going to say I want 20 grand. I'll settle for 15. I'm not going to tell him that. But I'll settle for 15, but I'm going to ask for 20. If he really wants me out, give me 20 grand. But again, like I said, the problem with that is now he has to go scam someone else for 20 grand to get me out. And I don't know if I like that deal either. Ideally, I'd like to get other people to help me buy these people out and basically squish the scam any way we can. So if other people want to buy, if people want to do a sustainable community and they want to help me buy these people out and help me squish this scam, great. Help me buy people out and help me squish this scam. But I'm gonna put it on the table. 20,000, 20 grand. See what happens. I'm sure he's not gonna come up with 20 grand. But hey, if they offer me 15, I'll take it. All right, bye.